piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
What's up, film fans? Welcome to episode 259. Welcome to 28 Days Later, and welcome to a new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I am your host, Juan. I am joined by the cast, the crew. Zach?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello?
Hello.
New week, new episode, new co-host.
New
person. As we evolve and kind of just like the rapid disease in 28 Days Later. We
Very
evolve,
rapid.
Yeah. We evolve and we change, but everybody, how's your week been? Zach, we'll start with you. You have a good week?
Yeah, it's been going good, going well so far. It's Wednesday. Wish it was Friday, but we're 2 days away, so we'll get there.
Hey, Wednesday, and it's a wonderful Wednesday, right? We get to hang out and talk movies.
Absolutely.
Ella, what about you? Did you have a good weekend? Good week?
Yeah, it's been good. Been a little bit productive, mostly laying around my house, so that's always a good week.
Very productive. Here with another new episode, guys. If you haven't listened to last week's episode or watched it, everybody watching on Facebook Live or Ima Sawa Productions YouTube channel, the audio version is always on Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. So go back and look last week. Me and Satch, we talked all about... Zach, what did we talk about last week? Knock at the Cabin. See,
yeah.
It feels weeks already, not just days.
I know.
But Ella, before we get started, kind of let everybody know, if you want to, the process of getting you onto this show and wanting to just kind of hang out and talk about movies. If you want to let some of the listeners know a little bit about you.
Yeah, cool. So my name's Ella. I started doing Oklahoma Sound System a couple of years ago and started picking that up more recently. So follow me, Oklahoma Sound System. And I've known Juan for a little bit now. We've been Facebook friends for a while, and I always admired his podcast, and he was crazy enough to ask me to join. So
crazy.
I'm sorry, I was not going to say no to that.
We can also get links to anything that you want. We can send out links and put links in like the bios and stuff right here. How long have you been doing that now? You said a few years?
Well, I just picked it back up since COVID. COVID kind of put it to a halt. Like I was really ready to start rocking it when shows were coming back, like after the first COVID wave, and then it was like,
nope.
So shows are starting to come back, and that's the main goal of Oklahoma Sound System, is just kind of promoting the shows that are in the city and around us, and make sure everyone gets to see the music they want to see.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Oklahoma Sound System.
I will put my little thing in the corner.
And usually when we invite people on, like guest hosts or anything like that, like they're kind of like a one and done kind of thing, or maybe they're on like once a month or every other month. But Ella, you said you want to go kind of full throttle with this podcast and kind of just talk movies and
might as well.
Our biggest thing here is like always helping out local, staying local. We have all different kind of fun sponsors. We've done live events before. We've done a live podcast at Rodeo Cinema before. So maybe one day.
That is super cool. I love Rodeo Cinema. My best friend, I call her my sister. She got married there. And it's
nice.
Awesome theater.
Nice. Yeah. We haven't touched into the music side of things yet. I know I have done some business with deaf. What is it? They help promote the Zoo Amphitheater.
Oh yeah, DCF.
DCF, yes. I've done
Yeah,
some
they're
stuff
really
with
cool.
them.
I have a friend that knows the guy who runs that too, and so my husband spent some time with him. He said he's a really cool guy, so I'm always down to support the DCF guys and pretty much anyone around here.
Yeah, I've done some stuff with them, so maybe it would be nice to get together and do like a live podcast at a musical event one day.
That would be awesome. Especially because, I mean, music is such a big part of movies. If you have a bad soundtrack, it's really distracting. And that's one of the things I noticed with this movie is it was John Murphy who did the music, and he's got lots of things under his belt. He's did Snatch, which is a great movie.
Great movie.
Yep.
We almost talked about that a few years ago with Brad Pitt when we did a Brad Pitt month.
Dude, I bet you guys were this close to getting Brad Pitt to come on your show, that Shawnee boy.
Oh yeah.
Let's try again.
We can try. You know, if we pay for IMDb Pro, you get a lot of people's
contact information
Really?
and stuff. Yeah, it's like $20-$30 a month.
I don't need to have that. I'm too much of a fangirl.
When we did the 15th, right? When we did the 15th anniversary of King Kong, I tried to get us to interview Peter Jackson, but they was like, no, we're good. So
we don't care about your stupid little podcast. It's baby.
Right.
One day.
But you never know.
Exactly. One day we will be there.
Right.
But let's kind of get into it. If you guys want to listen or watch anything that we produce, you guys can find us on the social media. The Summer Inn giveaway is coming up, where not only will you get a 6-pack of OKC soda, you'll get a gift certificate to San Marcos Mexican Restaurant. You'll get 2 tickets to Rodeo Cinema, and you will also get some merchandise from CDR Electronics. And then you'll get a free pizza from Red and Blues Pizza. So that Summer Inn giveaway is coming up very soon. I'm kind of guessing around maybe Labor Day weekend. You guys can follow us on the social media at facebook.com/The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Instagram is all one word, The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. X, or it used to be Twitter, is at Cine-Men405. And then the fastest way you can get to us is email us. CINEMEN921@gmail.com. We will bring out the email bag again next week. So follow us all there if you guys want to take a chance at the Summer End giveaway. Other than that, guys, let's dig into the movie. 28 Days Later is what we're talking about. I kind of had a hard time to find the links to send this to the listeners or anybody who wanted to watch along with the podcast. This movie is really hard to find if you're trying to stream it anywhere.
Is. I was able to stream it on YouTube, and even on Amazon Prime. It's not available to watch in the US.
Oh wow! And then Zach, you had to go to the library. So Ella, you had to pay for it on YouTube.
Yeah, it was like I'll rent it for right now. If I love it, then I'll buy it.
Oh yeah.
I see your Blu-ray up there in the corner, so we all know you bought it.
Are you sure that's not a green screen? No.
Right.
It's a fake.
It's a fake.
Bootleg.
So we'll talk 28 Days Later with a release date of June 27th, 2003 in the US. In the UK, it came out November 1st, 2002. IMDb has this at 7.5. Rotten Tomatoes is at 87%. The Metascore is at 73%, while the Google users like it at 87%. The budget was $8 million, but it scored a little over $84 million at the box office. 4 weeks after a mysterious virus spreads throughout the UK, a handful of survivors try to find sanctuary, starring Cillian Murphy, Naomi Harris, Alex Palmer, Noah Huntley, and you also have Brendan Gleeson in there as well. Written by Alex Garland and directed by Danny Broyle, who's done some fantastic movies before in the past. But like we do always, Zach, I'll start with you. Do you remember the first time you seen this compared to maybe how was it for this recent watch for today's episode?
So I don't really remember the first time I've seen this movie. I know I'd seen it. If I had to take a guess, probably sometime in college. Maybe it was just one of those the word of mouth or the buzz about it was so huge. Like, this is like one of the best zombie movies ever made or whatever. And so I was just like, you know what? I'll go ahead and give it a try. And I remember liking it. I wasn't like overly impressed by it, to be honest. And this time I feel the same way. Like I feel like it's a well-made movie, but overall it just feels it's very different from a typical zombie movie, which we'll talk about. But just overall, I didn't have a sense of like, wow, that was like the best thing I ever seen. It was like, okay, that was probably cool for when it came out. So,
what about you, Ella? Do you want to go next? Is this kind of the first time going through it?
Yes, this is literally my first time. I'm actually only 30 minutes into this movie. You were watching a live react on me. So far I've made it to the military base. I think my favorite scene so far really was the first scene. Like, you get gore within the first 10 minutes. It's wonderful. Yeah. Also, Cillian Murphy. I always called him Cillian Murphy, but Cillian makes complete sense because he's Irish. Never thought about that. But I'm honestly still trying to spot him because I haven't seen him yet. I mean, maybe I have, but he's just very, very young. Because this came out in 2004, and he was actually nominated in the VMA, or not the VMA, MTV VMAs in 2004 for this being nominated for Best Breakthrough Actor. And seeing as what he's done now, he should have won. But I don't know who he's up against. Maybe Brad Pitt or something. I'm just kidding.
What about you, Johnny?
I'm kind of with you guys. The first time I've seen this, I was kind of like in awe because of how, everything was well done as far as like some of the cut scenes, some of the chase scenes. I think the first time you see this, you're just so overwhelmed by the way the zombies look and how differently shot it is.
For sure.
But on this third time around, this is my third time probably watching this movie in full. I kind of had myself twiddling some thumbs, maybe in just the first, definitely through a handful of scenes. This is definitely a 2-hour movie that feels 2 hours.
It's the worst.
Yeah, and Ella, you talked about the music and how music is a huge part in like a movie. And for us, or even for me, in a horror movie, it's like it's almost like the main character in a horror movie.
Right.
If the music isn't creepy or if it's not eerie, what the hell am I watching this for? So I'm gonna kind of be interested in hearing you guys' thoughts and opinions. But yeah, Ella, you mentioned Cillian Murphy being super, super young in this movie. He's the guy in the beginning in the doctor's gown that's walking around the UK, just looking around, and he is super young. Zach, I think this is one of his first big time roles that hit the States, right?
Yeah, I think this is, like Ella said, this is like one of his breakout performances because it was like this, and then I think this was 2002, so like 3 years later, he was Scarecrow in Batman Begins. So I mean, he took off right away. So it's pretty impressive.
I mean, he got a lot of exposure with that Batman, and then he returned in Dark Knight. And I mean, we now know what all happened to that movie. You either became amazing or you died. R.I.P.
Exactly. And he stuck with Christopher Nolan. I think that's also what kind of helped his career. I mean, he was in all three Dark Knights. He was in Inception. Dunkirk, obviously, Oppenheimer out still in theaters right now. So I think like it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship, like how Leonardo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese are. Like that's just their guy that they'll go to. And I think obviously it's worked. It's paid off in his career. They were. I was looking at a thing online the other day, and I think they were talking about Red Eye. You remember that movie where it was like him and Rachel McAdams on the plane?
Mm-hmm.
No, I've never seen that movie, but I've seen.
It's pretty good.
Isn't he in another?
I
movie?
wanted to see it a lot when it came out. I love Rachel McAdams.
It's really good. I think it turns 15 years. It's Wes Craven. I think it turns 15 years old this year.
It is,
wow.
yeah, that's right.
So,
Man, I'm old. 15 years.
It's a good movie.
15 years,
So.
and I mean, talk about old. 28 Days Later turned 20 last year.
Yeah,
and I know.
Need to talk about this.
And Zach, you brought up other zombie movies. You both can chime in. This to me feels more like it treats the zombies like an actual sickness, like an actual rapid virus, instead of a zombie movie, maybe like something like Night of the Living Dead or even World War Z.
I
mean, that's honestly. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just say whoever wants to chime in first.
I was just gonna say. Honestly, I like the fast zombie. Like, I know that's not the generic stereotypical zombie, but I mean, it makes sense. Like, supposedly when you become a zombie, you don't have any nerve pain. And what's going to make you slow is an injury, which when it first starts, people aren't really going to get injured. So, of course, they're going to be fast. You just got to chop them with the legs and make them slow.
Exactly. Or just hit them with the truck or something where they don't get good up at all.
I'm ready for the zombie apocalypse, man.
I just feel like the thing that the comparison that came up in my mind was Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, where it just feels like super fast paced, very, very like all in your face, no stop action moments. This is just much more laid back, slow down. Like you said, the pacing is just very. I'm not going to say it's super slow, but it's just definitely like more relaxed than other zombie movies. And even like, Johnny, we were talking about this off podcast. It just feels like even the cinematography, it feels almost like it wasn't filmed with like actual movie cameras. It felt like it was filmed with like camcorders or something. Like it was just like all handheld, not like Cloverfield handheld where it's all shaky. Just like
I cannot watch that.
It just,
go ahead, sir.
I don't know. Like the first note I have is like it's very independent arts film. That's what it feels like to me.
So let's talk about that. Ella, this is your first time skimming through it. So like your first 40 minutes kind of, do you have an issue with the way it's like shot? It feels like like Zach said, a really low budget. I can't keep my mind focused in on the movie kind of feel.
Oh man. So I'm okay with the way this is shot. It wasn't until the style of Cloverfield that I couldn't watch movies like that. This one's pretty good. And I'm actually just at the part where he kisses the zombie. Why would you do that? Why? Anyways, he kisses her and then she just bites him in the face. Well, duh, what do you think's going to happen, dude? But yeah, I don't mind at all the way this is shot. I can definitely watch it and not have a problem.
It feels really, really low budget, but $8 million, even in today's standards, is kind of a high budget for a movie. I mean, there's still some A24 movies getting made with just $1 million.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. This feels so much like an A24 movie. If this movie was made today, I'm sure it would be made by A24. To be honest.
What scene did you just see?
He's like, oh shit, he's beating the out of her. Like he's the zombie now, and he's like about to kill her. Oh, he killed her.
Mm-hmm.
I guess his wife was being contained in the military base to get better from her infection, and he is just, oh my god, he is just going for the eyes. Damn, I thought zombies were supposed to bite you, not just kill you. Goodness. I guess that's the easiest way to your brain. Just go through the eyes.
Just bash it in, you'll get it easily.
Yeah.
So have you seen the scene yet where Cillian Murphy is going through the house and he sees the mom laying down holding the baby?
Oh yeah.
I think I got up and probably walked around because there was a little bit at the beginning where it was like 10 minutes that I was taking care of my son and just had the earphones in. And honestly, going back to the music, I was like, every time something happened, I was like, oh, what's going on? It was honestly scarier just to listen to it than to watch it and be able to see what's happening.
So you've already been introduced to Selena in the movie, played by Naomi Harris. We haven't really talked much about her on the show. I think the last movie we kind of may have touched bases is Skyfall.
Mm-hmm.
She was also in Moonlight.
Yeah, she's really good at Moonlight.
What are you guys' thoughts on Selena so far in the movie?
I mean, I think.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Go ahead.
I feel like she's a good side character to Cillian Murphy's, who is kind of just wakes up and just doesn't know what the hell's going on, and she's very much in the thick of things. Of like, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. She's very much a survivalist compared to Mark, who is automatically taken out of the game not long after we meet those two characters. I like her character. I think it's just kind of like a good yin yang to Jim's character.
Ella, you enjoy her?
Okay,
so
so his wife or his sidekick?
I think it's like a sidekick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've gotten to Selena yet. If I have, I missed her. But yeah, so far, yeah. Y'all go ahead.
I am not even a huge fan of The Walking Dead, and I don't know when The Walking Dead graphic novels were made, but
they were made in early 2000s / late 90s, and the TV show has not done them justice. Don't get me started on that. You keep going and talking.
Well, I was going to bring that up because I've seen a good chunk of The Walking Dead. I got up to Rick's final episode and I'm just like, no, I'm done. I got rid of all the good characters. But really, I don't want to say that this movie stole it or Walking Dead stole it. I don't really know who came first, but really the way you get introduced to Rick is the exact same way you get introduced to Cillian Murphy in the movie.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was going to bring up was the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes of Jim in 28 Days Later. I'm like, dang, is this episode 1 of The Walking Dead?
Exactly.
And it's pretty fun that we mention it because I guess they completed, the entire franchise already, and the box set is coming out later this year.
Well, are they done?
The original series is done, but they have like Daryl's show. They have Maggie and Negan. I think Rick and Michonne's going to have a show. They have like a bunch of
I was about to say, if it ain't Michonne, I don't care. Like,
yeah. I
literally had already lost hope in The Walking Dead. I was just still watching it because my husband was watching it. And then when they introduced Michonne, I was like, Michonne! She is like my idol. Like, I walk around with my dogs like she's walking around with her zombies. My protectors. But yeah, love Michonne. Will watch anything with her in it.
I'm going to get into some of the scenes that you might not have gotten into yet, Ella. If you want to talk about them, just
for sure.
Feel free to jump in. I had a huge issue with the compound scene. Like after Brendan Gleeson gets the blood dripped in his eye, which I thought was an amazing scene.
That was incredible. Yep. Yeah.
And his little daughter's just sitting there just screaming and
he's like spasming out. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But after he gets shot and they get taken to the compound, I feel like that's where I am most just twiddling my thumbs. What do you guys think? Compound scene yet, Ella?
I got it. And so like right now I'm on where like a bunch of people are trying to break into the compound. So I'm a little bit far into the compound stuff, but like, yeah, I agree. It was really slow. Like I have to have attention grabbing things to keep my attention. I'm ADHD as hell. And now it's finally starting to like work back up and people are starting to break in like you would expect. And so I'm like, yeah, let's do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I feel like after Frank's death, the movie goes downhill, and not even so much in a bad way. It's just I think the pacing of it really slows down, and we're supposed to care about these army guys who in turn are technically probably sociopaths, to be honest.
Working
But
for
it
the
just-
man.
Exactly. And it just, I didn't care. I mean, I knew by the end of the film, like, they're all going to die in some horrible fashion, get eaten or whatever. So it's just like, let's just hurry up and get past this and get back to Jim, Hannah, and Selena, essentially. So.
Yeah, I really wanted to dig into this zombie movie and just be like super impressed with it 21 years later. You know, Mr. Murphy is coming off of the highest of highs with Oppenheimer. And I'm like,
Yep.
man, it's a
can't wait to see
fun
it.
zombie movie. But I think when you toss it up there with maybe some of the other zombie movies, I don't know. And, you know, this kind of has a cult classic following. Like a lot of people really love 28 Days Later. You shame 28 Days, you're like, you know, oh,
How
the
dare
hell
you?
with you? Yeah, go somewhere else. I don't know. A lot of people really put this up there with some of the best zombie movies of all time, but I'm I don't know. I just found myself, you know,
I
on
mean,
the verge of boredom. I don't know.
I like the concept. I'm looking at the Blu-ray front of the Blu-ray right now, and it's like, it's a cool design. The red face with the biohazard sign, and Cillian Murphy's like, like the shadow of the body just walking through the city. It's a cool design. It makes you think that this is going to be an epic movie, but overall, I feel like it's just kind of putting Mentos and Diet Coke, and it has a really good moment, and just kind of like, okay, that's it. That's the end of the movie.
Like,
You
really?
know?
That wasn't that cool.
Exactly.
I feel like probably, from what I understand at least, it was one of the first movies to do the fast zombie concept, like on screen. So I think that's probably why at the time we were all like, yeah, like we were Microsoft 95. When we got that, we were like, yeah. I try to use
This
that
is incredible.
now. Yeah, it don't even work anymore.
Well, and Ella, I mean, you're right. I think, this came out in 2002, and I think Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead was 2004, if I believe. So it's just 2 years after that, we're doing another fast zombie movie. So
Zombie
I think
movies definitely had a resurgence after this. World War Z just came out a few years later after that.
See, I loved World War Z. That was a movie that I love that a lot of people didn't, because they're used to the comics. But I loved it.
Well, we were going to talk about that during Brad Pitt month, but other things got in the way. So
can we do Johnny Depp month? He also loves Oklahoma.
We have been in maybe some conversations. There's so many good Johnny Depp movies to talk about.
I could talk about literally all of them all day long.
Yep.
So going back to,
did you get a chance to watch 28 Weeks Later?
I was going to, but I'm like, I didn't want to just overdo myself with the 28 series, and I was, I didn't want to compare apples to oranges, and then I was like, man, what if I really like 28 Weeks Later, and then just completely, just completely trashed on the original. But I did not get a chance to. I might this week, for sure, and then we can talk about it next week.
I mean, good luck, because I can't even find that one. That's not even at the library, so I don't even know where to find 28 Weeks Later.
Well, I own
maybe
it.
YouTube.
So if you want to borrow it, you can.
Well, your little Blockbuster back there, right?
Man, I just looked on the IMDb photos, and Cillian Murphy is super young. Holy cow!
How old is he? Like now?
Let's see.
He's pretty.
I feel like he's just in his 40s.
He's probably in his 40s, like late 40s, maybe.
Forever. He was born in 1976.
Yeah, so that would be 40.
40s. Maybe late 30s, early 40s, maybe.
I don't know, but he's rocking that hospital suit, hospital clothes.
Oh, yeah.
I love that man. He's awesome.
You can see his whole
Oppenheimer.
So do I need to go watch Oppenheimer like ASAP? I mean, I plan on doing that already, but
I mean, honestly, if you can take 4 hours out of your day and go see it, and
it's worth it.
4 hours?
It's 3 hours, but I mean, probably an hour, to get there,
trailers,
get back, trailers. But it's a very heavy dialogue-driven movie, so
yeah.
Fair enough. And I like dialogue, honestly. It helps me. If I pay attention to the words and I can understand them, then I can stay interested in the movie.
You mentioned this earlier, Ella, and this is your first time in, so we have to ask you. You enjoyed it sounds like you enjoyed the graphic novels of The Walking Dead more than the actual show.
Yep.
But earlier, you said you enjoyed World War Z the movie more than you did really kind of the graphic novel. So
yes, so I'm only into graphic novels because of my nerd husband. So when I was in high school, he introduced me to The Walking Dead and Y the Last Man. Two amazing graphic novels. Y the Last Man, they came out with a series like a couple of years ago, and from what I've seen, they don't have a season 2. They're waiting on someone to pick them up, and I'm hoping they do, because that one was actually really, really good, like in comparison to their stories.
I think I watched the first episode of Y the Last Man. I think it was on Hulu, and I liked it. I don't know if it got canceled or they didn't want to pick it up.
Yeah, they didn't. It
was an interesting concept.
They didn't pick it up, and then there were talks of other places picking it up, but I haven't heard since if it's going to come out or not. But I really, really hope they do, because they had a great cast, and it was just great. I loved it.
So that was pretty much that's pretty much my question was, apples to oranges for you, or if you're like, because Ed's a big Harry Potter
much prefer the
fan. Movie. Okay, I'm in the same boat then.
I don't like reading unless it interests me, and it takes a lot to interest me.
Zach can go both ways. Edward loves to read. This is what I want to read.
Nerds.
I just want to read the back of this and then put the movie in.
Yes.
No, I think
gone so far as to that movie looks interesting. Let me look up the synopsis, because I don't really want to go see it.
No, I think you just read the title and be like, 28 days later. Cool. All right, let's go. I'll watch it.
That's true. I mean, I did go to one of those bin stores the other day. Those like where you go in and there's like bins and they have $1 day, $5 day.
Yeah.
I love those places.
I found a random Blu-ray for $1 that I don't have, and I was like, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna buy it. It's got Pete Davidson in it.
Is it his movie? Is it the Rhode Island Kid or something like that?
King of Staten Island. No, it's not that movie.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up right quick. That's a good movie, though.
I really want to watch that. After COVID, like me and my husband loved movies so much that we went and saw it every week. We had a pass at Tinseltown. We were up when we lived up there, and we went all the time. But then we had a kid, and then COVID happened, and we're just now starting to get like back into going to the movie theater.
It's this one, Big Time Condolences. Yeah, but it was only $1.
That's awesome.
So,
it's probably.
Overall... No, go ahead, Ella.
I was like, it's probably not a great movie if it was like, it's sold for $1. Someone returned it.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, Ella. He's bought stuff. I'm just like, dude, like, why are you going to spend your hard-earned money doing that?
For the love.
Look, I even have Help, I Shrunk My Parents.
I mean, I wouldn't watch that, but Honey, I Shrunk the Kid is the best movie ever.
I don't even know what that is. But let's kind of get back on track. 28 days later, the compound scene to me was just twiddling thumbs. It's basically based around these 4 people. You have Jim, you have Selena, you have the dad that they meet, Frank, and then the daughter.
Frank turned real quick. Wait, Frank's the young dad.
Frank's the dad that gets like
I'm thinking of the grandpa.
Drop of blood.
That grandma and grandpa. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty fun scene too. A lot of the scenes with the zombies are kind of just more than less jump scares, but you still get like some good jumps to them. Did anybody have any issues with the volume though in the movie? Like dialogue was real low, and then the scare scenes are like overly loud.
Yes. Yeah, I've actually kind of just been switching between like mute and volume. Like I can read the words, I have captions on it, but when something interesting starts happening, I'm like, I want to hear the music.
Well, I mean, Danny Boyle did did do something interesting technically, where like when the zombies are like running towards something, it's kind of almost like a first person look, and they just like come through the window or come through a door or whatever. I thought that was kind of a, and like you said, Ella, it's like or Johnny, it's like a loud bang, like a typical horror movie does, but it's effective. Like it got me at 1 or 2 times. So
it got me when I was just walking around, not watching the thing. I would be walking and be like, "Ah, what was that?"
It's just like, wow, what incredible sound design.
For real.
So after you kind of get to the compost or the compound.
So overall, I mean,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, overall, do you think this movie, like 20 years later, on the rewatch, you think it's a disappointment? Do you think it doesn't really hold up to what people make it out to be, or or as I like to say, it's fine?
I would probably say it's fine. I think this is one of those horror/zombie movies that you may have to be in the mood for, if you want like a smart scare, if you could even say that, instead of your typical bloody, gory hour and 20-minute zombie flick.
Right.
I think this has more thought behind it than your average zombie movie. So I think that's why, you're left with pacing issues, because, when the rapid response happens, when the rapid kill scenes happen, you just want so much more of it, that the slow dialogue scenes that is exactly what it is, slow. Not necessarily a bad thing, but, yeah.
When you're in a zombie movie, you want action, essentially. Yeah. So, and I agree. I do think it's very character driven. It's very character driven, and you want these characters to succeed, especially at least Jim, Selena, and Frank and Hannah at some point. I do like the quiet moments in this movie, like when they're just like when they went to the grocery store. It just felt like a good just character moment, or if they're just camping in the countryside of Britain or London or whatever. It just felt very peaceful compared to the rapid going and doing and just running.
Those are your moments. Those are your moments to take in and kind of be like, you want to enjoy that. If you're yourself going through an apocalypse situation like that, where we can't completely put ourselves in that situation, but the first 2 weeks of 2020 COVID, what was going on? You were going to grocery stores that were completely empty almost. You were driving on the highways that were almost completely empty. So I'm not saying we went through it thick and thin just like they did, but we can kind of compare and contrast what we went through.
Exactly.
That was a pretty good reaction. What scene was that?
You're on mute, Ella.
Good. There we go. It's when they're getting sniped, I'm guessing, leaving the camp or going around the camp. And I just noticed the guy from The Walking Dead. Or no. Who is he from? He's Hawkeye. That's what he is. He's not from The Walking Dead. Hawkeye.
Ella, you might be watching 28 Weeks Later.
Oh, motherfucker. I know.
You're watching 28 Weeks Later, not 28. Because like you're talking about a parent being bashed. I was like, I don't remember that being in the movie. And then when you said Hawkeye, I was like, oh shit, you're watching 28 Weeks Later.
Literally, like I tried to search it with you guys and I found the freaking Sandra Bullock movie, and then I searched it on here and I get the freaking 28 Weeks Later. So I still have apparently not found 28 days.
Well, there you go.
28 weeks. Pretty all right.
You know what though? That can answer our question. Which one is better, 28 days or 28 weeks later? It looks like the answer is, they kind of just blend in together anyway.
Yeah,
probably. Like I could talk about the different movie completely.
That's hysterical.
But that being said, let's take a step back and talk about a fun situation that we can kind of put ourselves in their situation. Whether it's 28 days later, 28 weeks later, I Am a Legend, World War Z.
Oh, I'm a Legend.
If you guys were stuck in that situation and you were in a grocery store, what are some of the items you would just snag and just take back to your spot?
So before The Walking Dead came out, me and my husband's plan was always to go to Sam's and literally just shoot everyone. In Minecraft, everyone. In Minecraft. Goodness. But Walking Dead ruined that. Now everyone's plan is to like go to Sam's or some big warehouse. But definitely if I had like a trip and going to the grocery store, I'd get whatever canned food I can, whatever medications and first aid stuff, and then batteries. All the batteries.
So canned foods, batteries, medical supplies. Good bring up on the medical supplies. Zach, what about you? Do you have anything that you would want to maybe toss in there? Are you a Woody Harrelson guy, and would you throw in Twinkies? Like
well, it wouldn't be Twinkies. It'd just be bags of Cheetos. I gotta have the Cheetos to survive.
Just regular Cheetos, hot Cheetos.
Regular Cheetos. Get some Dr. Pepper in there. Some white powdered donuts, and I think we'd be able to fight the apocalypse.
What about cardio? You know, if we're talking Zombieland, number one rules, you gotta have cardio.
Yeah, that's true.
I would die instantly. I talk a big game that I'm ready for the zombie apocalypse, but I'm not. I would totally die. They would catch me if they were fast zombies. And honestly, if I had to go outside my house, I'd be like, take me. I don't want to leave my house. Take me.
Yeah.
I thought that same situation. I was like, you know what? If they're rapid, fast zombies, I don't have a chance anyway. No. Let me just do away. Let me just get it over with.
Reminds me of in the Zombieland when the like big zombies like going under the bathroom stall. I feel like that's a scene, right?
Yeah. And I mean, another movie that probably is really inspired was Zombieland. Great two movies. So.
Mm-hmm. Love Zombieland.
I'm gonna go ahead and get this film out of the way, and then we can have a little bit of fun, a little different conversation a little bit later on. The Help ending, Zach, about saying that they're here with the plane coming by. The ending, kind of a non. Again, people are probably gonna say, "Why are you hating on this movie so much?" But I feel like it was just a lazy ending. Yeah, it did leave you questioning. Oh, they're on their way to maybe a
sanctuary or something.
A sanctuary that's going to be rebuilding, or where are they going? Who survived? Who was even in the plane? But you don't get none of that. You just get vroom, and it's over.
And then it's revealed that this is a prequel to the Andy Serkis Planet of the Apes trilogy. That's how all this got started.
Yeah. The beginning felt like a Planet of the Apes movie.
No,
I didn't enjoy the ending.
I just kind of think, I know I was doing some research, and one of the alternate endings was that Jim died from his injuries. I was like, that seems a little bit more appropriate. And then that way Selena and Hannah survive. And then really, obviously I haven't seen 28 Weeks Later, but that would have been a good lead-in to that film. And then...
28 weeks. I feel like 28 weeks later.
28 weeks has nothing to do with this first movie, right?
No, it's
clearly not.
It's the same part of the UK, but just a different group of people. 28 weeks later, after the monkey event, I almost feel like 28 weeks.
So
later,
it is.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I almost feel like 28 weeks later should be, 28 weeks later in a different part of the world, maybe just to.
That would have been cool. Yeah. Show the infection spreading.
Yep.
Because that would be what would happen. It would eventually get to wherever else. So that would have made more sense than just staying in the UK.
So they do the Cloverfield effect where the first movie is set in New York, and then the second one is a whole different, completely just different story. Maybe somewhere in the same universe or whatever. So.
But you know what else gets me? And as far as like, it's not a zombie movie, but it's a really fun movie to talk about, and we still haven't talked about it, even though COVID happened, is Contagion. Have you guys seen Contagion?
That's a really good movie.
No, it's honestly really eerie about a pandemic.
It's a virus that, and it's essentially, I rewatched that maybe a year after COVID or whatever, and that's almost as accurate as what happened in real life, truthfully. I mean, it's a scary film. I saw that in the theater, and I was just like, oh, damn. Like, that would never happen. And fast forward 10 years later, this is happening.
There's this game that you can buy called Infection, and I actually only found it because in one of my, so I'm a nurse, Don't tell anyone. I'm a nurse, and when I was doing my bachelor's, one of the things they wanted you to do is to play this game and like basically tell us how you did it. And so what you do in the game is you start an infection and you pick what continent you want to like to start in and like what vectors and what it causes. Honestly, if you just cause some like non-obvious symptoms, it can spread so fast. And we saw it happen in real life with COVID. I mean, we are living in a post-apocalyptic world because COVID should have killed us all.
Yeah.
So but medical advances, right?
That's what I wanted to bring up. Medically, even though you're on 28 weeks later, if you were going through a zombie apocalypse, not necessarily talking about 28 days or weeks later, but if you as a nurse was going through the zombie apocalypse, what would kind of be some of your things medically, or just
First
something
aids.
that you would want to do? Yeah, something that you would want to do right offhand.
Get you one of those Israeli backpack first aid kits that has everything you need: tourniquets, blood stop, those little tampons you throw in gunshot wounds, one of those mosquito bite suckers so that you can get that venom out as quickly as possible, and a lighter, like a flame torch lighter, because you need to burn that shit. Basically, if they bite you, I'm gonna burn wherever they bit you. I'm gonna burn it all off, because that's how you kill it and keep it from spreading. Tourniquet, burn it. Don't let that infection go through your bloodstream. Once it gets to your heart and your brain, you're done.
And that was something else about the movie that I actually thought was clever. It's the second you get bit or get contaminated to the blood, it's like 10 seconds. So I think they said like 20 to 25 seconds, and then you're part of the infected.
And I think that's yeah. That was pretty. Man, we didn't even plan that, Ellen. That was just right off the top of the head.
Dude, I'm a critical care nurse. It's all up here. I'm ready. I'm ready for anything. I literally, like during COVID, I learned how to like baby wrap with basically any kind of material, because if I had to run, I'm making sure my baby's gonna be with me and he's gonna be attached to my body.
Oh wow!
I'm serious.
Those are your nurse notes.
There you go.
And I think that's a pretty fun segment. I think you could do, like you said, that was your idea, and I think next week you're gonna have to come up with some nurse notes for a gangster flick when we talk about.
Honestly, I think it will be better because from what I've seen, and obviously I've only seen 28 weeks later, the medical parts, it holds up kinda, because I mean, if you get blood dripping in your eye, you're gonna get it. If you get blood in your mouth, if you get bitten anywhere, you're gonna die. Keep those zombies away from your mucous membranes. Anything in your body that's wet, keep it out. Wear those goggles, wear the pappers. And I wanted to medically rip apart some stuff, but like I said, I like the fast zombie concept. It's not until the zombie gets injured that it'll be slow. So I like it.
Yeah.
Overall, Zach, do you have a favorite scene from 28 Days Later?
Honestly, probably the grocery store and in the English countryside. I thought those were just two, slow country, just real good character moments that just let the movie breathe, let the viewer breathe, and just have just a little bit of calmness. And then probably just Frank's death, where the blood drip goes into the eye. Those are probably the two best moments of the film for me. So
I'd say the same thing. When Frank gets the blood in the eye and he turns quickly, and then if I would honestly probably have to say the ending compound scene when Jim escapes and they do away with the compound. Ella, I know you're on 28 Weeks Later, but I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite zombie movie?
Yeah.
There we go. That's really hard, man. I like zombie movies quite a bit. Like, they're probably like my favorite horror genre, just because you don't get too much of a jump scare without expecting it. And that's what I hate about horror movies is the jump scares. Like, give me an exorcism all day. Give me a zombie movie all day. Keep your jump scares away from me. I don't like them. But let's see. I watch Zombieland probably the most. I watch that every couple of years.
Days.
And it's been out for days. No, it's not one of those. Pulp Fiction is my every couple of days movie, and Goodfellas.
There you go.
Yes, Pulp Fiction and Goodfellas, my favorites. Wizard of Oz, although I don't watch that one nearly as much as I used to.
It's back there behind you.
Yeah, I see it.
But yeah, probably Zombieland. It's just such a good movie.
Good answer.
True. It is. I watched it just a few weeks ago, honestly, and it's an hour and 20 minutes. It flew by. It was funny. Zombieland was great.
And
but
it taught you how to survive.
It did.
Yeah,
the rules of engagement. But it's not good. Star rating time 1 out of 10. 28 days later, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 6. It's definitely something I'm not gonna pick back up anytime soon. It's too slow pace of a film. We talked about the score and the soundtrack to a movie. How I don't know how 28 weeks later is yet, but 28 days later is just, to me, the score didn't pop out at you. The story is there, the character development is there, but you don't get a good payoff, I feel like, for these characters. You just kind of get a blunt ending. And I don't think there's any scenes that are memorable. None of them pop out at me, besides the 1 or 2 that maybe some of us has named here. So I don't think I'm going to pick this one up again for a while. So I'm going to give it a 6.
I know what I'm giving it already. I'm giving it a 3. I'm sure it's okay. Like I said, I haven't seen it. This is just blind, but literally it is so hard to find. I cannot watch the right movie. Like I said earlier, I found 28 Days with Sandra Bullock, and then I found 28 Weeks, and that's what I ended up watching. If it's just hard to watch a movie, I don't want to watch it.
You know what? After kind of looking at it and talking about it today, maybe we should have done 28 Days with Sandra Bullock. It probably would have been a whole lot more entertaining than this.
And obviously, that's not even an uncommon thing. It's a whole joke on The Office whenever Erin's like fighting with her at the time boyfriend Gabe, and he's like wanting, or no, what is it? No, it's Pam. Pam is talking about how she was going to rent 28 Days, and she ended up with 28 Days Later, and she was like, I was freaking out. Like, I was expecting Sandra Bullock to show up, and I was really excited whenever I thought Sandra Bullock was in this movie.
So you kind of had your own Office moment here today.
There you
go. Zach, are you going to save this movie, or is it's fine as well?
I'll save it a little bit. It definitely falls in the category of it's fine. I'm going to give it a 7. I do think it is well made. I think Cillian Murphy and Naomi Harris and Brendan Gleeson give good performances. Technically, I think it's shot different than what I've seen with a zombie film. But like you said, it's not really memorable. I don't really get the hype of why people love this movie so much, especially for a zombie movie. I think there are definitely better ones out there. Yeah, and I agree with you guys. It's one that if I never watch again in my life, I'm fine with that. And to be honest, I really don't even know. I like Jeremy Renner. I don't really want to watch 28 Weeks Later. So.
I mean, I only saw him and it's been halfway through, and this is that's the most exciting it got. Like for 28 Weeks Later, the beginning was pretty exciting, and then it got boring, and then they got to the compound, and then people started getting into the compound, and that's when it kind of picked up. But that was literally almost an hour in.
Oh, see, there's another compound in that one, so
yeah.
There you go.
I think I'll pass. I've never seen 28 Weeks Later. I have it.
There is no chance during a zombie apocalypse am I going to let the military take care of me. You know the president is already going to be a zombie. Who's controlling that place? We don't know. I don't want to be there. Make a compound in my house.
That's funny.
But for those of you who did look for and try to find this movie, if you did watch it along with us, let us know your thoughts. I'm going to bring the email bag in next week. Email is cinemen921@gmail.com. Let us know your star rating for this movie. Let us know your star rating for Public Enemies, which is what we are talking about next week.
Can you tell I'm biased?
No, listen. No. Listen. My moment has finally come. We are finally talking about this movie. I've been trying to get us to talk about it for the last 5 years. So I'm really excited about next week.
Christian Bale, Johnny Depp, Public Enemies, next week. And let's see. Zach, is this streaming anywhere? It looks like you can watch it on Starz subscription. You can rent it on Vudu, Apple TV.
How much is it? Like
$3.99.
Yeah.
So let me check my Roku app. That's how I find, if anyone has a Roku TV, get the Roku app, because literally you just search it and then it tells you all of the streaming options that you have. Yeah, and it's really easy to find if I can just find the app.
It's worth $3.99 to rent. I guarantee you. So,
Jack, I really want to ask. I know we're going to save it for next week, but Public Enemies, gangster flicks. Out of all the gangster flicks that you could be so overly whelmedly hyped about, what is it in a few short words? What is it about Public Enemies?
It coincided with something that happened in my life. Long story short, there you go. Long story short, my first college class I ever did was a history class, and I did a paper on the FBI. So, and this movie came out that same year. So it kind of coincide with that.
So you can see it on Spectrum, VIX, and Starz if you have a subscription. And then you can rent it from Prime Video, Vudu, Redbox. Redbox still exists. And Apple TV. And it's for cheapest, Prime, $3.79. For most expensive, all three of the rest of them are just $3.99. So
nice.
Honestly, a movie worth spending the $14 on to buy it digitally.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can probably buy it on Amazon for like $10 or something. So
next week, that's what we close out August with Public Enemies. In 2 weeks, September the 6th, we're talking No Hard Feelings. September the 13th, I'm excited about this one. Batman: Mask of the Phantasm celebrates 30 years.
No.
Yeah, celebrates 30 years. September 13th. September 20th, we're talking School of Rock.
Yeah, I love School of Rock.
September 27th, Star Trek Begins.
Beyond. We finished the trilogy.
And then the first episode in October, we're talking the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Jessica Biel.
That's a good one.
But Ella, if you did not know, every October we all pick out 4 horror movies, and so the entire month of October we're talking about nothing but horror movies.
It's all gonna be exorcism and zombie.
But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for you. Unless you guys have anything else you want to chime in on 28 Days Later. If not,
I think I'm done with 28 Days Later since I didn't actually watch it. But follow me, guys. I'll be here every Wednesday for the most part, and otherwise come look and see what shows are happening. Otherwise,
that's it. Zach, anything else? You heading out? Zach is gone. He is on
muted.
Well, sorry. Yeah, done with 28 Days Later. Let's get to Public Enemies. So we'll see you next week.
That's how we finish August off. Don't forget, new episode next week. Public Enemies right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Bye, everyone.